Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Red Path. My name's Brian, and today is a very special day. Today is Slatemas. We had a new data slate dropped on us today. For better or for worse, we'll be getting into it. If you're a World Eaters fan and you're clicking on this, it's probably not for happy reasons. But we're gonna get right into this slate. Today, I'm joined by Josie and Ryan, two I won't say newcomers because Ryan's obviously back to the party, but basically the competitive team of the Red Path, here to bring you our initial hot takes on the slate. Granted, like I said, these are hot takes. We are recording this the day of the slate dropping. Our opinions are destined to change, and that's exactly what they are, just educated opinions. So with that, Josie, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I want to say I'm excited. I'm trying my best to find excited today. Because there's an amount of change. It's Slate Day. Things have changed in the game. Surely.
It's a whole lot of sure. We'll save that. How
Yeah.
about you, Ryan? How are we doing?
I'm much more upbeat about it. It's great. It's fine. I left and Angron was the man, the goat, the only thing that we needed to run, and I come back and immediately it's Thanos level back to me nonsense. So um here we go. I haven't played a game where he wasn't something that was an option.
Well, without spoiling too much of it, guys, like I said, we're going to break down the whole slate. We're not going to focus too much on some of the minor changes for some of the minor factions where there is any minor changes. And we're going to focus mainly on impactful changes towards us, not necessarily just us, but some of our predators, some of our new predators. We'll focus on them and what to look out for. So with that, guys, I think we're just going to get straight into it. I'll go ahead and share my screen and yeah. All right, guys, I have the slate pulled up on the screen now. And like I said, the three of us are going to walk straight through it one at a time. If anything's in red, that means it's freshly changed. If anything's highlighted in green, that means it was, I believe, a previous change or a revision from the past. So scrolling through it and getting started with the data slate. Core rules, no changes. For better or worse, no changes, which honestly, I don't think core rules necessarily need to change too much. We're at the tail end of an edition. If we're upheaving the core rules of the game, that's just going to make 11th edition feel really confused. And I think that's probably where GW's holding all of their tricks right now is any of the complaints with the core rules of the game we're going to see changed in 11th, which is going to be later in the summer. Sisters of Battle obviously has had tons of rework done to them. No real changes though this time around. Custodes, no real changes. There's going to be a theme here, guys. Adeptus Mechanicus, no real changes. Eldar, a lot of changes.
Changes.
Changes and a lot of them. Yeah. So Eldar, I would argue, was in a optimal pilot's hands, one of, if not the hardest matchup we had in the game. Adeptus Mechanicus would give us that run for our money previously, but honestly, that was more of an issue of they just had too much stuff than it was just them being necessarily broken. I mean, they could do bad things to us. They could just do a lot of bad things to us, which is what the problem was mainly there. Eldar took quite a few hits. Pretty much every part of the Fuegan combo got dismantled. Other than Fuegan himself, every step of that combo up to Fuegan got completely dismantled and brought
No,
over
no,
back.
Fuegan got touched as
Yeah,
well.
Fuegan got hit too.
Oh, Fuegan got hit too.
He can't flip sixes on himself.
Oh yeah, well
So
I meant that. I meant that, but not Fuegan's data sheet itself has not changed.
True.
Which is does not mean that he's not he did not come out of this good. I think is the way to
Absolutely
put
not.
this. You know what, Ryan? I think you were spoiled by the fact like you chose to nope out right around the time of the Eldar Codex. And you missed that entire Wave Serpent timeline of just no vehicle in the game got to exist unless you brought pure stat checks, and even
uh,
then you're not going to have a good time.
apparently I missed Toxic Summer. I missed Death Guard, Knights, Eldar, um, Admech, like all of the nastiest things that people have cried about. Apparently this edition happened while I was not here.
Yeah, you left when the edition was good, and you came back when the edition was still scarred but healing. Um, and I feel like
Perfect.
it's a good time to come back. But broadly, Eldar, you're just starting. They lost star engines. It's now just assault on a wave serpent.
Basically, it doesn't exist.
Functionally means there's no rule.
Yep, it's fake.
Um,
You're never going to see it used. They'll just use the +2 move instead, which is still an amount of extra movement, but it's not D6 +1 extra move.
Pretty much all their shoot and scoots no longer let you get back into vehicles. Assuming you shot, you can get back in if you fought, which I'm much more okay with. Come fight me in the middle of the table, E3 Elf Man. I will have a much better time with stomaching that kind of shoot and scoot. Sorry,
Yep.
fight and scoot is way more stomachable than shoot and scoot. It's way
If
more. At least you're interacting with me. I can at least get on board with that.
if Wagon shoots us, he's gonna have to catch these hands next turn. He's not he's not standing he's not getting back in the
On
truck.
GW terrain, when they could inch from the wall you too while doing that, that was just it was so bad, man. And I'm tired of it. Don't tell me that it was skill expression. I mean, it was. I mean, Eldar is a hard army, not hard army, but Eldar is a hard army, and skilled pilots can exploit what the powerful combos are in that army. But it was really just uninteractive and oppressive for some other armies. That was my thing. Is like some armies could handle it, some armies could deal with it. The armies that couldn't just kind of sat there and let it happen and had a very quick and painful death, right?
Yeah. And I'd argue that most of what got changed here wasn't really the skill expression part. Like there lots of
No.
elves, lots of Eldar is difficult to play. Really high
Yep.
skill
Yep.
ceiling.
You are
Popping a
it is
wave serpent up against a wall, sending Fuegan out, killing your stuff, and then just getting him back in for functionally nothing is not skill expression. It's just easy mode 40k.
yeah, exactly. And like you still
Jank.
are T3 elves, you still are being wounded on two by Khorne Berserkers. Two Khorne Berserkers can lift a five-man like aspect warrior squad, no problem at all, right? So there is a serious like expression from the player, like, and that's what I feel like a thing that confused a lot of earlier players is they felt like this matchup wasn't that bad, and that's the case with like other mid-table Eldar players do have the tendency to just get run over by melee pressure. Where the skill expression came in for the Eldar players was preventing scenarios like that, learning how to move block, learning how to do all that stuff, which they still can do. They just don't get to blow me up and hide at the same time. Now they have to at least stand in the open while they do that to me. Um, and then important change here is the shrine tokens can no longer affect any character. No flip sixes on anything. That was really annoying on Fuegan, who had the sustained hit stew gun. Shoot you three times, hit you nine times. It was old fast that fire dragons were just good into monsters, vehicles, and infantry, mainly because of that. That was like the primary like offender there when Flagon would put nine shots into you in addition to the other 10 fire dragon shots. Any infantry without an invuln was just gone, and even infantry with invulns were hurt pretty bad. Um,
Also hits a Swordman pretty hard. He was a big problem for Berserkers because that man could just pop his whatever his ability was that gave him his best day ever
yep,
and just flip a couple of sixes and lift sometimes as much as 10 Berserkers just for
yep.
free. That man just flipped some sixes and had some fun.
Because Devlin's anti five up, and then what you didn't roll was fives. Like I said, flip them to sixes, and you just saw squads of stuff disappear, right? This is a huge hit to Eldar. Every time we've thought Eldar finally got the nerf that put them down, they end up still being the best army in the game. Finally, I think we hit them with a nerf big enough that won't make them the best army in the game. We'll see where they land. They're going to definitely have to come up with a few creative builds because the Fuegan combo was like 550 points. And they were also starting to lean into the Amalgam Raw combo, which was this Fuegan combo light, which was like another 500 points. So we'll see where their lists end up. But there are pretty large implications for this. Your tanks, because like the biggest problem was it was the star engines plus Flagon coming out to fire and fade, because now that he can fire and fade, he can do it safely. And then you add the shrine tokens to that, he could reliably pick up monsters and vehicles that were 40 inches away from him. And that was ridiculous. It didn't matter if you're behind a wall. And that made playing monsters and vehicles an actual like, well, I don't want to play the Khorne Lord of Skulls because Eldar is in the meta, right? That was a huge thing that held the Khorne Lord of Skulls down was this squad. And maybe Lord of Skulls has a little bit of merit now. Right? I know Josie's excited about that.
I'm so excited about that.
Astra Militarum, no changes. But I think this is actually a good time to mention that there are a few more rules changes in the background, other than just what's on the data slate and what's in the points update. We do have six new detachments joining the game. Of the detachments, I'd say two to three of them are like notably like we're gonna see around. Mainly Blood Angels, Astra Militarum, and potentially Emperor's Children in my mind. Space Wolf one, maybe that's good, maybe that's a miss. I don't know. A melee army that doesn't have advance and charge always scares me. Um, the Harlequin one seems okay, but not great. And then what was the sixth one? I'm blanking. Oh, Dread Talon one that we put a video out
It
on.
exists.
It exists, guys. It's better than Dread Talons. That's the bar. But I think it's worth talking about Astra Militarum here for a second. I think that's going to be a boogeyman in the meta. Reroll wants to hit and wound. Indirect is back. It's damage two, baby. It ignores cover.
I agree. They can put a lot of stuff on the table as well because they have a lesser need to pump out orders or order characters at least in that attachment
Yeah.
because they get an extra order on every character. Means they need fewer characters on the board. It means they've got more points for more Bulgrin and more nasty things that we can't really very easily chew through.
Yeah, for me, it's the detachment hits weird on me because it's like it feels very much like Gladius, where it's like just generic everything better, where people are like trying to PM us and be like, "Hey, what's the guard build we got to look out for?" Because everybody's concerned about guard right now. I was like, I literally don't know,
Could be
and
anything.
I
Yeah.
think that's a problem that you can play tank spam with this, you can play indirect spam with this, you could do combined arms with this, you could build some messed up recon style army with this probably, and it would be fine, right? This detachment is going to be good. It's probably going to see a lot of play, and all of the guard players in your locals are going to be crawling out of the woodworks now. Strength 7 getting pushed up to 8, AP1 ignoring cover, lethal hits, damage to artillery is going to be a nightmare for Berserkers. If they choose to lean into Manticore, that's a nightmare for 8 bound, right? Um, Guard players can get into a huddle and figure out what is the worst tool for us and probably find it. And I think this matchup's going to give us a lot of trouble, mainly because Bullgrins are also a problem to chew through.
Volgren's and indirect are not good.
No, but
Yeah.
Bullgrins with indirect behind it, and with the addition of you're going to get caught in this toxic play pattern of this list that we're describing of the indirect's going to shoot at you, and usually when you have indirect shooting at you,
You rush
you
it.
you rush it.
Yeah.
Well, you have to rush it, and they're going to be waiting for you with Bullgrins that hit on twos re-rolling, so they actually have really good melee, good enough to pick up 10 Berserkers if you're not careful. You have to actually hold your -1 damage for Bulgrin because they will just walk up and hand you 20 saves and you will fail 10 of them and you will lose all 10 Berserkers. So having -1 damage ready for Bulgrin is very important, but Khorne plus 10 do not kill Bulgrin on average. And guess what's behind the Bulgrin? A Dorn.
More
A
Volgren.
Dorn, right? So, it's going to be a very good list. It's going to be something to look out for, and it's probably going to be one of the best armies in the game. Is my hot take here. And my take is I actually think it's potentially scarier than original Bridgehead. That's my take. I'm gonna go ahead and claim I'm claiming that now. I think it's better than original Bridgehead.
What? I don't think it's better. I think it's broader. Bridgehead, you could learn how Bridgehead played, and you could learn how to play against Bridgehead. You can learn what this detachment does, and it will tell you absolutely nothing about how to beat a Grizzle Company detachment
Yeah.
because you don't know what it's going to have, even if you know everything that it can do.
And I feel like it's gonna like gaslight you into thinking that it's not broken because Bridgehead would like drop down and be like, bam, blow up, you're gone, right? This isn't gonna do that.
No, you'll
This
see a
is going
guard
to
army deploying, and you'll think, "Oh, it's a guard army. I can play against a guard army, a
it's
normal
going
guard army."
what's going to happen is everything that you're used to fighting in guard, this is going to hand you like 3 or 4 saves more in every interaction. And it's just going to slowly add up and add up and add up until at the end of the game, when you've lost the game, you're going to look down and be like, you still have 1,200 points of guard models on the table. What happened, right? Nothing is going to just like poof, disappear, explode, unless the indirect gets you bad early. But like, I don't know. I feel like it's going to nickel and dime us down. I think this is going to be one of our red matchups going into the future, unless you are like specifically mentally prepared for this on a mission. Like you have to just put your head down, rush it, and do kill the Bulgrin and pile and consolidate right past. This is your only out. So Templars, no changes. Blood Angels did receive a very good attachment. Briefly, I'm just gonna say it. I think it's strictly better lag if you build it correctly. They have 2 CP fight on death. They have access to 1 CP plus 1 AP. Still have the crazy sustained hits enhancement. It's just all the time at sustained hits 2 instead of sustained hits 3. Still have fights first. It's just a solid melee detachment, and Blood Angels is going to be very popular. That style of Blood Angels is going to give us a relatively hard time because only because of the 2 CP auto fight on death.
Yeah.
It means that they have tools in the fight phase, which they really didn't before, which was weird.
Yeah,
Now Blood Angels can actually,
they could run fast before, they could punch hard, they could kill you, and then you just killed whatever punched you and it was fine, you traded.
yeah, some Fever Dream tells me we had like 2 CP auto fight on death, and like I think it was ninth edition Codex World Eaters, and that was like so good. It was like so good. I would kill for auto fight on death, which possessed Slaughterband has.
Sure
But
does.
it's very good for invalidating trade games, right? Your opponent can't trade with you if you run up to them, hit them,
Yeah,
kill them. Yeah, you run up to them, you hit them, kill them, they run back into you, and you kill them too. It's 1 + 1 equals more than them, right? That you're just going
yeah.
to slowly trade up on them.
Like
So
possessed
That
is a
is that
fairly
is indeed
mediocre
math,
attachment.
Brian.
it is
Yeah.
indeed math. It's been a long day.
Yeah. Possessed is a
Uh,
pretty mediocre attachment, but auto fight on death is one of the things that lifts it from being to a very real detachment. And it's purely because you can run it into melee stuff and reliably trade.
yeah, it has everything that I talk about. Why Warhorde actually, I think Warhorde is still one of our yellows to oranges, is because it just can outvalue you in the middle of the table. The one thing that we have on Blood Angels versus Orcs is we are just as lethal as Blood Angels, and we cost relatively the same as Blood Angels. Orcs get the lethality and not costing the same. So sometimes that could be a problem in that matchup for Orcs. Blood Angels, I think this is going to be a 50-50 to player skill off game, but Blood Angels is going to be more popular because that detachment I think is just better than lag. Chaos Knights, we got nothing. CSM, also nothing. Dark Angels, also nothing. Death Guard, also nothing. Drukhari, like small, looks like FAQ change basically. Emperor's Children, this one was hilarious. They decided that they should just randomly help the worst attachment in the book. Um, it's just, it's not even worth talking about, honestly.
No, it's slightly improved. You're still never going to see on the table.
You're still never going to see it on the table. Gene Stealer Cults, nothing. Grey Knights, nothing. Imperial Agents, nothing. Imperial Knights, nothing. Leagues of Votann, nothing. There's a trend here. I don't think there's any more changes in the rest of the slate. And oh,
Oh, that one.
sorry, Thousand Suns. That's a big one. I won't call it big, but it's relevant. This is more of a change for demons. Just the birds go to 3 damage is the moral of the story on that. Thankfully, they had the foresight to knock Kyros's AP down, but I don't think that helps everybody's anxiety. Um, Kairos is going to be seen in demons. He's a Vex, D3 +6 blast shots, flat 3 damage and direct.
It's very
Goodbye,
good.
8 bound. Goodbye, 8 bound.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, if you put your 8 bound behind your rhinos, Kairos is within 24 inches of your rhinos, which means he's chargeable. 24 inches is not a huge range. You're probably not getting hit by that turn 1 unless it's on one of the smaller maps. If you try to dodge it, but definitely doesn't feel good.
This is true. For Thousand Land specifically, they upgraded what was previously their worst attachment to make it probably not their worst, but I think still arguably not a good detachment. All it means is that the demon stuff gets access to a couple of the Cabal rules. So you can now get Kairos at AP4. You can now get Kairos with full hit rerolls. But you are still, for that, running the Thousand Suns Demons detachment, which is not fundamentally a very good detachment, even with a couple of good chickens in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Chicken.
we're gonna have to see how. Thanks for the input, Ryan. We're gonna have to see how we're gonna have to see how they shake out with that. I'm honestly more concerned about Scintillating Legion, getting a little bit more play with the chickens because they can uppy downy them, I believe, in that detachment.
I think so.
I think they can uppy downy them. There's a lot of excitement there. It might be an army that pops up more. Honestly, I'm not super concerned about these changes. I mean, Kairos and Lord of Change going to damage 3. Yes, that means death to 8 bound, but the style of armies tend to struggle with us putting our head down and running straight at it. It's like, cool, you killed 2 8 bound squads on turn 1. I'm going to kill you on turn 2 for that, right? That's going to be what happens. Is Khorne and Ten are going to go grab the first chicken they see by the throat and swing it around, right? That's just what's going to happen. Tyranids, no changes, and World Eaters, no changes. So, the TLDR here is Eldar got taken out back and messed up. Blood Angels got a cool new detachment. Thousand Suns got reworked, just the chickens did. I guess it is worth mentioning Raven Guard got reworked to just a little bit in the rules. That one's kind of hidden because they did it in the app and they put it out a small little FAQ document out just for that. Didn't include it in here. They can no longer turn one rapid ingress you. Huge change. That was really scary. Basically cost me at Worlds every time I played into Raven Guard to have a 30-minute turn one because I had to make sure that there was nowhere that they could come down and get me. And usually I ended that turn by saying, you know what, I don't care, just do it. Pass clock, right?
Yeah,
Kind of. I'm kind of underwhelmed, right?
I think it's fine. Also, not in this was the Chaos Demons change because for some reason they've decided that demons don't deserve a balanced data slate
Oh,
entry
yeah, that
anymore
is weird. That
for
is
no
weird.
reason. But they put a little what's new box on the demons index, which is quite nice. Big things, obviously, chickens go up to damage 3. We know that it's the same as the Thousand Suns change. The Demon Prince got the same rule that every single other Demon Prince gets, where they get blown up within 3 inches of infantry. And the very important one for us is the endless gift. That 4 plus feel no pain great and clean one is now a 5 plus feel no pain. He is so much more killable.
So now
E-
it's the gift that you get on the Secret Santa for $20.
It's
Yep.
it's still a 5 up
I
feel no
mean,
pain. He's still
he's
so
still
tough.
hard to kill, but there's a big difference between a 4 up and a 5 up feel no pain. I don't know.
Yes.
It just feels like 5 ups you can never trust. 4 ups I will never. If you have a 4 up, I'm going to assume you're going to make 80% of them. If I have a 5 up, I'm going to assume I make one, right? That's just if you hand me 10 5 up saves, I'm making one, okay? But that is a big deal. I used to always say like don't even mess with that dude. Like it's not
Yeah.
worth your time. Maybe it is. We'd have to sit down and run the math and see if it is worth your time now to like throw something like Angron and maybe a little bit something at. But yeah. Other than that, though, I'm a little disappointed with the rules changes in the slate. There are several armies with several unplayable detachments, several unplayable data sheets. We are included in that. Obviously, a little bit of bias here. It feels rough watching a few other armies that have multiple playable detachments receiving more playable detachments, right? CSM getting a detachment rework. Nice, awesome. The first thing we heard, or I said when I heard that CSM was rumored to get a detachment, I was like, why? They have 13 already, four of which you could argue are better than each other. You could legitimately argue which of the four is the best at the moment, and there's no right answer there. Same thing with Guard. Guard has many playable detachments, right? And I'm not upset that armies are getting access to new rules, but I am upset that if new content isn't being given out, is it really that much effort to like go into Khorne Demonkin and just tweak a little bit of small things, right? Like 3 a Blood Tithe point, get rid of that. Get rid of that restriction, right? That's not going to break the game, but that's a huge quality of life thing that would get people to stop playing Berserker Warband, which 95% of our players do. Josie is the exception. Josie is the 5%.
They are still trying to get us to stop playing Warband through the exact wrong way.
We're going to get to that part,
We
Ryan.
are going to get to it. I think we might
We're
get
gonna,
up to 6% not playing Berserker Warband after today.
and
I think eight, Josie.
it's really disappointing too because there's one rework in here that really needs to be in here. And you know what? I'm gonna save that rant. We're gonna have the world leader recap for the very end. But we'll go ahead and switch over to the points right now.
Yeah,
We'll prob
let's roll through these quick.
um Sisters we'll
Slapped.
talk about briefly. They were one of our bad matchups.
Yep.
They went up enough points that I'd say they're not as hoardy on the table. That was the big problem, was they were a horde on the table. They're not incredibly hard for us to kill. They were just annoyingly cheap to kill, right? You had to commit 10 berserkers to kill 150 points of sisters that would fight on death and kill your 10 berserkers. It was annoying. Make them cost more points, make that exchange feel better. It did. Cool. Custodes getting funny points drops where it really doesn't matter.
Yep.
Um,
They're going to get about two
this is
more models on the
probably,
table. They're going to have a
I would
great
say
time with
this is
it.
probably like the second most neglected army of the edition.
Oh, they're so sad.
AdMech, big one.
This is
Oh dear.
huge.
Huge. Yeah, you can see plus 20, plus 30, plus 15, plus 35, right? I think the average AdMech list went up somewhere between 150 to even up to 200 plus points per list. Like I said, they have very strong rules. They just had a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yep. And the stuff that's been nerfed is specifically quite good for us. So the Horde detachment got hit harder than anything else. They've gone up more like 200 points. The more elite versions have gone up more like 140, 150 points, which was always more manageable for us. Not easy, but more manageable. Um,
Yeah, and it's the Rust Stalkers, it's the Infiltrators, it's the Sky Stalkers, it's all that stuff just getting thrown in our face while the last chickens are picking us apart, right? If the Forge Fiends can never get within 28 of the last chickens, good luck getting that close to them. The last chickens will pick your Forge Fiends off, then pick your squads off one at a time. They'll overwatch you and kill your Demon Prince. It was kind of a nightmare to navigate that matchup. I'm glad that AdMech has good rules finally. Like an army shouldn't have
yeah.
bad rules, but being priced appropriately with good rules is like that sweet spot, which some models in our army are not. Anyways, Eldar had some points increases accompanying their nerf with rules.
because
Got
they weren't slapped hard enough.
yeah, it's the classic 1-2 punch of I think they went up about 150 points is what I heard from like the average Warhost Aspect Warrior list, which is rough. That's losing a squad and a half in addition to your most powerful combo.
Yeah, they got eviscerated
Ashmore Tarim, no changes. But I mean, those rules changes are going to carry them. Black Templars weirdly got nerfed kind of significantly. I didn't see this one coming. I
No,
saw,
I mean they got the up and down, which is what GW likes to do sometimes. Like they pick three things that everyone's running, make it worse. They pick three things that nobody's running, make it better.
yep, but
There's a reason nobody's running the stuff though, and it's not going to be run more at 10 points cheaper.
yeah, we'll get there.
Your army's just getting nerfed, guys.
It is, you're going to play the same stuff, just less of it, is what that nerf is. Sanguinor went down 10 points. That felt like the Hulk handing you a taco meme. It was just like, gee, thanks. Cool, awesome. Uh, they did have the foresight to increase the points on the Lord of Change and Kairos. Cool. I have no problem with strong models existing. Just make them cost appropriate price points. Honestly, what we're gonna have to see where that shakes out. It could be a nothing burger. Usually, demon changes end up being nothing burgers at this point. They just tend to pick one data sheet and improve it per uh, data slate, which honestly is the dream, but weirdly, only demons have been getting that treatment consistently. Notable Keeper of Secrets and Shalaxi went down a lot of points. Like 40 point drop on Shalaxi. It's pretty good. Same price as Angron now. Not really much else to talk about there. The annoying to spoiler build got nerfed just a little bit. I mean, Ryan, you also haven't experienced three despoilers with 36 622 shots yet each. It's
I want to.
108 622 shots per turn,
No, thank you.
ignoring cover with sustained hits.
I'm
Um,
still going to play
I
that, just with slightly
I
less
I
stuff.
didn't order any.
yeah, that was a fun one for us to run into for a little bit there. Chaos Space Marines, ups and downs on small stuff. Fortune got cheaper. Chaos Lord and Terminator Armor got cheaper. That dude's cute in Shadow Legion. It's about my only comment.
Yeah, buy one up. I've seen a lot of people quite annoyed about that they feel like the buy lists were basically already at the breaking point where they had zero chaff. Everything in there was required, and they've got to find another 15 points.
Yeah.
Very difficult for them.
This one annoys me, as I'm a new and up and coming Dark Angels fan. Like, why? Why? It feels like they just did a drive-by on Azrael randomly. I get it. He's actually really good. Maybe he did deserve this like three metas ago. My Dark Angels list, which was okay at best, went up 50 points, and I'm salty for it, and I hate everything to do with Raven Guard for what they did to me. Please split codexes off now, please, GW. You're just making the problem even worse for some of the other non-compliant chapters. Death Guard had some nonsense changes. Not really going to get into it. I don't know why Rodigus got nerfed within Plague Legions of Death Guard. Like, was Taliban really that good?
No, I don't know. They match the Chaos Demons points, but they don't need to do that. He's a different data sheet in the book. They can leave him as he is.
Yeah, it just seems a little
Odd.
odd. Death Watch and Dominator Kill Team got nerfed a little bit. Whatever, 15 points up here. They're still going to play them. They're still very strong. Drakari, pretty much no changes at all.
Yeah, that's still a
Uh,
worry.
Emperor's Children we'll talk about a little bit because I think they are finally experiencing what we experience, which is you have three data sheets in your army that are very good, and you get punished for playing three data sheets in your army that are very good. And they take the unplayably bad data sheets in your army and make them cheaper. So I would not be surprised if Triple Wing Demon Prince is still meta. That's just my only comment there. The cool thing is, I think Keeper of Secrets and Carnival may pop up with that big of a point drop. Maybe we'll see like the Carnival of Excess detachment
Yeah.
start to take hold a little bit. Gene Stealer Colts, no changes. Grey Knights, like again, sure, you get a couple points here and there. They're not going to be super happy about that one. Grey Knights is one of those armies that I also think is fairly neglected this edition. One of the worst in the game in the moment, is my opinion.
It's such a boring
I,
codex. It's such a boring codex.
it's so bad. I feel so bad for them. Oh, speaking of boring codex, we'll scroll right past Imperial Agents. Imperial Knights, the worse off of the two Knight factions. Not really concerned about them right now in terms of our meta. I mean, we still have the Slaughterbound plus Exalted buff. Knights aren't really a huge problem. Granted, you can always get stuck on an open table into Knights, but broadly, I think it's one of our easier matchups, assuming we don't get screwed by the mission. Votan got a ton of points drops. We're gonna have to see what that ends up being. It's nice, but it's mostly on, it's like quality of life, like 5 points here, 5 points there. Maybe that gets them like an extra unit or a unit upgrade.
Yeah,
Votan's like a
it's
very fair army matchup for us. Not really concerned about it.
no, most of the stuff nobody was taking as well. Like the Steeljack, I think the Steeljacks could be a problem for us going forward. But
I've been stuck on those things before.
yeah,
They're
but everything else
the
in there that got buffed was it was a nothing. Stuff that nobody was
Necrons,
taking anyway.
Necrons and Orcs, no changes.
No.
It's just it just keeps going. Space Marines. It they do this. There's always like a problem in Space Marines, and they always try to solve that problem, and then they always give them pity points on something else. Like this is what I want in my army right here. This is what I want, the attention given to the Space Marine Codex. This is what I want all armies. This is what I want to see on every single army's data or every single army's data slate update, right? Aethon Sean and Raven Guard went up. That dude was insane. Maybe he's priced appropriately. He could walk up and on average, if you were oath, kill 8 berserkers. And I was just like, excuse me, you're how many points, right? Aggressors down points. They've kind of been forgotten about. Maybe they come back. Eradicators down points. Also, I've never seen them on the table in a while, but they are not bad by any means.
Nope.
They're just waiting for a new target to come at. They're basically just power armored fire dragons.
Yep, they are now also
Um,
60 points cheaper than a squad of fire dragons.
yep. Oh, wow. Nasty. The Khan went down. Cool. I've literally never seen him on the table. Lieutenant went down. That's actually kind of cool. He was just a little too expensive, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I believe that's the new Cato Sicarius, right?
That is, I have issues with this one. I'm so annoyed about this one.
Let it out. Let it out.
New Kato is good. The man is good. I don't understand though. I think if I remember right, he's now the same cost as the old Captain Sicarius data sheet. With just strictly better abilities. Old Captain Sicarius had rubbish melee, and he had a reactive move that was tied to stuff getting close to his model. Kind of play aroundable. New Kato, stuff gets close to his entire unit, they can reactive move. And he gets like a Blade Champ's melee profile now.
I think, Ryan, did you discover today what a Victrix Guard are capable of?
It wasn't today, but it was very recent, and it was very shocking. Like, realistically, I don't know why we have 4 wound infantry that aren't characters running around doing things with the suite of rules that those guys have access to.
Like I
And and then yeah, you have Kato who I think is it not a flat 6 reactive move on him?
Flat
Yeah,
six.
flat six. In
So
addition
like
to probably being played in a detachment that has a reactive move already,
Yep.
so
because
yeah,
it's
he's like it's like this is a one where I saw it and I was like I don't quite understand. Is this just like for because I don't understand.
I don't think we should be going in the direction of making Victrix better in the, and if I scroll down real quick, spoiler alert, Victrix got
Did
nerfed,
they though?
nerfed. It was like when they took away Calgar's CP generation if you had Gilliman in your army, but then I think they dropped him points. They
Yeah,
like
they did.
did like the dropped his points but took his CP generation down, and we were like, no, don't do that, please. Please don't make him cheaper because they're still going to play both because both are good and the army's still going to be just as good. This is where I'm like, okay, we're trying to make the new Sicarius playable while nerfing Victrix Honor Guard. You just made the combo the same amount of points, pretty much, just to run the squad with Kato. Granted, they aren't playing him with new Kato because old Kato was strictly better. Old Gato, the biggest downside Old Gato has is he's fine cast and good luck finding him. That is his
Also
biggest
true.
downside. He's probably sold out everywhere right now. But 240 points on Victor's Honor Guard. Just make them epic heroes. I'm tired of seeing
40
20 of these
points a
dudes.
model. It's
I'm tired of, look,
oh,
my other thing is like, I'm fine with them being more wounds than regular Marines. What the hell's a Terminator anymore? Like, what is a Terminator? Like,
Garbage.
what is the point of a Terminator when this thing is standing right here? I mean, it's just, I thought 10th edition was supposed to be the Terminator edition. Space Marine Terminators have been terrible the entire edition. Terrible. Not even
I
yes.
like since
the,
like eighth, I feel like it's just like Terminators have been like you could pass them by, excluding some of the Chaos variants at some point or another. But
the Worldly,
like
Worldly Dude Terminator, joke. Emperor's Children one, joke. Dash Shot Terminators were terrible, and then they got fixed to be incredibly broken, and then put back to being overpriced. And it just feels like Terminators don't. This is the Terminator edition. I don't know. It just feels bad. And this is more of like I don't really for game balance. It doesn't really matter. It's just mental power scaling of just like, hey, here's a 4 wound Marine running around that's -1 to wound at all times, right? So your Berserkers, if they charge your Berserkers, you hero or no, I guess you're not heroicing, but you're like winning on fives with Berserkers into this. It's just a dude, right? Squad's scary. We're gonna have to do something about it, and I think our lists are absolutely going to have to tailor themselves to be able to handle Victrix.
Yes.
They're here to stay. This 90 point nerf because they're going to be playing six or three, or sorry, two or three squads of the six. Still going to be around. This is going to be the boogeyman of the format, and I think this army's won like almost a couple dozen GTs in the short period of time that it's been out.
They are zooming.
Uh,
Yeah.
the team event, there's a team event over in the UK. Um, Forget what the name of it was. Ennis, Josh Roberts, Nas, I want to say, and a few other people were playing in that tournament, playing
Yes.
Ultramarines, and Ultramarines had a 95% win rate in that event.
hmm Yeah, it was prestige. I
And
think it was an England trial event or something. And they had over 100 Victrix Guard across the teams that were there, and they just never lost.
95%.
Yeah. Yeah.
95. And I get it that it's teams, but chill.
Yeah. It's also
yep.
teams almost entirely composed of very solid players.
Correct. And oh, Thunderstrike went down 15 points. Nice. I like that one. That one's my favorite. Anyways, this plus or minus nonsense going on, I think that should be something that most armies get to have that pleasure of experiencing to a more focused degree, because at least the Thunderstrike, the Eradicators, the Lieutenant, and the Aggressors all have something in common, is that they're actually very playable data sheets. There's just better options out there. And that's the kind of situation where points drops matters, where you take a playable data sheet and you just push it a little bit. But if the data sheet's not playable, pushing it's just going to kind of be an insult to players, and we'll get there. Space Wolves got some drops. Honestly, they're a fine army. Now they're probably more fine, but like Grey Hunters weren't seeing play. Iron Priest got slapped really hard earlier. Murderfang's not seeing play. Venerable Dreadnought's not seeing play. I don't think Space Wolves really played it or are going to change at all. Bjorn, maybe he'll start seeing more play. I think he's really good already. He's just a CP generator. Like, when do you not like that? Tau, plus or minus, they're going to even out to a little bit nerfed or a little bit buffed, depending on what build you're in. Seeing triple
Yeah.
Riptide was getting old, but Riptides are really good. And like I said, you're
You'll
allowed
still
to
see
have
them.
strong models. Just point them appropriately, and I don't care. Right?
Yep. That Storm Surge change is my other pet peeve from this. I dislike that the Storm Surge went down 40 points
I don't
because
even know
some
what it
armies are
does.
allowed it's a big battle suit, basically. I mean, it's not even a battle suit at this point, but
Is this your Lord of
It,
Skulls rant? Is this a
this
Lord of
is my
Skulls
Lord of
rant?
Skulls round,
it's the
yeah.
Lord of
Save it.
Skulls.
Save it. We're
Their
getting there.
equivalent went down 40 points. Hold that in mind.
Thousand Suns, they did various point drops to help them out, but it's not going to undo how bad they got hit in the last slate. Ryan, you weren't here for that. There was a period in time when Thousand Suns released. It was actually quite frightening, and they ate like 250 points of nerfs and severe rules changes. That's just wizard bullshit's always strong on release because it's really hard to balance an army where they basically have four army rules, Ryan. They get Oath of the Moment and like +2 AP into whatever they want. Then they get to double move. And then what's the for
What's
Doombolt? They
Doombolt?
still have
Yeah.
Doombolt. Still have Doombolt, right? And then four army rules. They just got to do that every single turn. Basically strat
Amazing.
you 4 times. And it was ridiculous on top of super cheap stuff. And then GW said that was too strong, came in heavy-handed, and now Thousand Suns is in this weird area of like, I guess we're fine, but never going to win an event again. Like they're like the pinnacle 3-2 army. which is sad to see. I actually really like this army. Tyranids, Carnifex and Screamer Killer went down. That's all.
25 points on the Carnifex,
That's a
Josie.
lot cheaper.
It is a 90-point Carnifex is not nothing.
No, that's a real unit at that point. It's a
Yeah.
trading unit somehow on a Carnifex.
The one everybody's been waiting for, the reason why you guys are looking
Da
here.
da da da.
World Leaders changes.
6 changes. Oh boy. I'm very excited about this top one. This
And
That makes one of us. Really does make one of us.
okay. We'll start with the Reds.
let's
So there's plenty of builds right now that are going around with world leaders that are winning events or capable of winning events. I fully believe Jack Pack is capable of winning an event right now. I just think Josie needs the correct run at a tournament to be able to win an event with it. I have full faith and credit in Josie to win an event with Jack Pack. But the primary way people are playing their army at the moment is Berserker Warband. That is not the player's fault because that is the only detachment that has every tool a melee army needs to succeed, right? It has lethality, it has the speed, and it has defensive strats, right? I think all three of those combined gets you a perfect melee shell, right? We have -1 damage, we have sticky on death, perfect. We can hold primary, we can brawl in the middle of the table. We have advance and charge only on berserkers. Honestly, I'd like it to be everything, but I'll live with that. It's pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
Um, the enhancements are all bangers, right? The issue is every other detachment is missing some component of that where it just feels lackluster. The closest we get is like Khorne Demonkin, where like the sticky on death is just bloodletters coming back onto the table. Granted, it doesn't have the deliverability. If you go look at Goretrack, it doesn't have any of that durability. It doesn't have any of that stay in the middle of the table, but it has deliverability. Like it can get to you. The damage is like kinda there, like kinda into the
That's
right
close.
profiles.
Yeah.
And then Possessed Slaughterban, insane damage, no deliverability, no durability, right?
Yeah.
That one's just missing a bunch of stuff, but it has the damage, right? But that's not enough to make you a good melee army. And what ends up happening is all of the World Leader players start getting monopolarized to one style of play, and it's not because it's the strongest style of play. It's because it's the only style of play, right? And if your design perspective to get people to play more stuff is to cut the top down to the bottom, they're going to take us straight to the floor, right? They're going to take us straight to the level of the unplayable detachments, and nobody's going to be happy, right? And I don't mind Berserker Warband being taken down a peg, but this is what I was going to try to harp on in the rules section earlier, but with a little bit of context of what you guys are seeing on the screen, is that you have to actually help the other detachments and help the unplayable data sheets to inspire play in the other detachments, right? And that's just not happening. And same thing, about half of our data sheets are really struggling from poor rules or just being slightly off. And going after the good data sheets and not helping the bad ones, genuinely helping the bad ones, we're still going to take the same stuff, just less of it, which I guess is a form of balance. Like our win rate will drop. We'll win less events. That's what a nerf is. We're a strong army. We deserve a nerf. But like, why are we a strong army? Why are we monopolar? There's a few other symptoms here that I really feel like are getting ignored. All right. I've been talking for a second. I'm probably going to rant more. You guys take the mic.
Okay. I guess we'll start like just I'll just go over quickly everything that happened. First, Helm of Brazen Ire went up 10 points. This feels directly targeted at the Prince. Like it's the only model that's worth anything to take it. Um, I guess load up, T10, 2 up, 4 up with -1 damage is a pretty good combo. But this feels a little unnecessary for what it is. It's literally just like a hey, we don't love this interaction and it's in Warband, so we'll F that thing. Glaive going up 10 points. I don't think there's a joke on one of the Discords where like Glaive gets a nerf every single data slate, it feels like, or every other one. Like it's like whether it's the dude holding it or the Glaive itself. Like we can't have nice damage
It,
acts.
and what,
It's not allowed.
and you can at least relate to this one, Ryan. Index Mo started at like 60 points with like a 20-point glaive. He was like 80 points. He ended the index at 135 points.
He ended up Glaive Mo was 135 points at the end of Index. Guess what Slaughterbound with Glaive is now?
135. And
135
do you know
points.
why? we still played the Fights First Mo because there was no replacement for him. And they're like, oh, they're still playing it. That means he needs another nerf. It's going to be the exact same thing with the Slaughterbound of he was for a period in time we could not answer monsters and vehicles in the middle of the table. We just couldn't. If you put something that was stronger than T10 in the middle of the table, we're just like, well, I hope I roll lethal sustain this turn, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
we're still going to play Glaive
yep.
because we
100%.
still need the damage to
Yep.
kill big things in the middle of the table. And I, you nailed it. Something that's holding Glaive is going to get nerfed again. Anyways, keep going.
So then we go Slaughterbound. He's up 15 points to 100. To be honest, this one does feel a little more fair. Like an 85 point model that had the capabilities that he had is very good. Now he normally paired with the Exalted, and now that squad is 260
Seven
something points.
275, right?
275, there you go. That's like considering it's glass, like it's dead the second it makes combat. That feels maybe a little egregious based on things that has
And
come like on paper, Slaughterbound at 100 points feels good. Then it's like you look at it, what's going to happen to him, and it's like, oh, it's a 100 point thing that I get to use once.
and then you rapid ingress him while there's a Kairos on the table, and then he's
I mean,
poof.
and
Bye-bye.
then and
Bye.
then and and then there's also the guard, which have the 3 damage interact, and the Kairos, which is the 3 damage interact,
And,
and you're just like, oh, okay.
and
And then we're
yes,
going to see a lot more Drukhari, which are anti-infantry, everything, fight on death.
you
So
better hope whatever they have doesn't also Overwatch really well. Like the combo's good. Three
yeah,
Exalted plus Slaughterbound, not ever going to say it's bad. I won't even say it didn't deserve a points nerf,
yeah.
right?
No, I agree.
Um,
I always found myself putting Slaughterbound in detachments that weren't even Berserker weapon. Like I ran three Slaughterbounds in my last Cult of Bloodlust because Slaughterbounds were very good for the points cost.
Yep,
Also, because Jackals can't kill vehicles, but Slaughterbounds are very good for the
yep.
points cost.
yeah.
I
At
mean,
100
Jackals.
points, I'd still take some.
If you throw enough
Yeah.
Jackals at something, it will die.
Um,
But
Lord of Juggernaut, that increase is seemingly directly aimed at 20 mans. This is like a hey, 20 mans are really good when you make them 10-inch move and 3-inch fight range, and we maybe should curb that a little bit. I don't know that he needed to go up. I
I
don't know
was
that we needed our 450 point infantry unit to go be 465.
like it's more than that. 360. It's more than that now because typically you're also putting an enhancement on this dude.
Yeah, if he's got
Granted,
an enhancement, it's more than that,
probably
but it's yeah,
usually he
it's
held lust or favored. My issue with this is the 10 man plus him was significantly less egregious. They should have just put plus 15 points on the 20 man berserkers if this is how they
Agreed.
wanted to do that. And you know what that does? That inspires different builds.
yeah,
Yep.
Instead, the 20 man players are going to keep playing their 20 man getting nerfed. The 10 man players are going to sit there and feel much worse about that and look at the Mo instead, which is an
yeah.
okay substitute, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
And if what they were interested in was
Warmongers.
nerfing, sorry,
Oh,
if what they were interested in there was nerfing Berserker Warband, if they looked at Berserker Warband and said, two people are playing this, they really should have just nerfed 20 Berserkers because you don't see 20 Berserkers outside of Berserker Warband. It's
Nope.
not played. It's not
Nope.
playable, frankly. So just nerf 20 Berserkers, put 15 on them. Some people
Yep.
like Lords of Juggernaut. They can do stuff in other detachments, and now
They're
you're not going to take them 105.
yeah,
they're really good in vessels. Actually, the Arch Slaughter is
Yeah.
like king on this dude. You get like 13 damage 3 attacks with solid AP on it, right? Anyways,
yeah.
buffs.
Goremongers. We finally get some green, guys.
I like this one.
Mine,
This one's actually a good one though.
minus, this is actually legitimate. Minus 10 on the Goremongers is very good. It makes them very, very good trash for the points, obviously, with the combo of infiltrate and reactive move. Um, but once again, kind of to your point, this doesn't help any of the detachments otherwise. Like Josie, you're the cult specialist here. You realistically just like more jackals than Goremongers in your lists.
Yep.
Like,
Gomongers are terrible in cult. You don't run them though. They don't do
and
anything.
so like,
Uh,
what does this help? Because
uh,
it's obviously Slaughterman doesn't buff these guys at all. You've got your transport detachment, which doesn't really care that these guys infiltrate um, vessels, anything like that. It's just not great.
It's pushing. They're really good in Warband. You push them up to strength 5
Exactly.
Lance, and you give them plus 1 AP. So it just feels really confused.
Yep.
And then we've got one left. The big man himself, the man who does get some green,
Yep.
Angron, who has
Yep.
managed to break Ryan's camera.
That-
But
He made me so mad.
He's
It made you
oh,
why are we mad about this one?
Angron's gone down 20 points. This is obviously good for a list. You can never argue with somebody going down points. That's never bad.
There
Is
is
it
a point.
good?
There is a point where bad things are good when they're cheap enough, right? Like
Yeah. Angron in this codex is always a problem for the army. He has functionally no rules. His auras are all terrible. His resurrection is so bad that the majority of armies will never even consider using it outside of turn 5 YOLO charge.
I want a Primarch that feels good. And I feel like we are in a situation right now that is very reminiscent of Index Death Guard, which I feel like was one of the biggest blunders of 10th edition so far, where a army came out with rules that were so terrible. I think Votan was also in this period too. And we went through like 2 to 3 data slates of just extreme points cuts. Like, why this is Angron's second point drop. He went 20 and 20. And the last point drop, like, he saw no additional increase in play, right? None. Didn't even budge. And 20 more, honestly, points aren't the reason why this model is going to see play. This model is going to see play because the glaive combo, in addition to the points drop on Angron, is going to offset, where you're going to start looking at, hey, is glaive slaughterbound, which is worth 275 points, which is not durable at all and dies to a bad rapid ingressor Overwatch. Do we just replace that with Ankron, right? Why are we replacing? What does the glaive slaughterbound do that's interesting? All it does is kill stuff. And I'm going to replace it with a demon Primarch that all he does is kill stuff, right? And he's just slightly more durable.
And he's got a few theoretically interesting niche rules, like
Mm,
possibly can come up sometimes.
I love theoretically niche rules on a centerpiece model. That is,
Oh, I think he's the worst like
he's
written
the
data
worst
sheet.
Primarch.
He's the worst written data sheet maybe in the game in terms of its relevance to a faction. Like
100% agree. And
he should be the centerpiece of the faction, and he's anti-synergetic and completely useless for the
I mean,
most part.
the joke's been used a million times. It was used on Art of War. He is now making us want to role play being world leaders in real life because we hate our dad and he provides nothing to the table. And sometimes he breaks things. And that's what he is right now. He's pulling those feelings out of us where it's like, eventually, yes, he is going to be cheap enough where you can't not take him. That's what Scarbrand doesn't do anything interesting. He just runs around advancing, charging, and flipping things over. We love Scarbrand, right? I mean, kind of, right? At
Kind
least he
of.
does something, like he fills a role. Engron's going to be here as the centerpiece model, our Primarch. All he does is Hulk smash. He's 16 wounds and he can pop -1 damage, which is not bad,
Nope.
but that is it. And I don't want to get in a situation, because I honestly think Engron is playable at this point. I think he's starting to approach that top of the price threshold where I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll look at him and I'll look at the meta and I'll say, is he good for that meta? And right now, Victrix Guard, Drukhari, Indirect Guard, Strength 10 Chickens, Angron's good into all of that. Legitimately good into all of that.
Blood Angels,
Blood Angels, why is he good into all that? Has nothing to do with his rules. He is
No.
T11 and
2 up.
16 wounds
T11, 2 up, 4 up, 16 wounds with the
and
capability of
has
getting -1 damage.
only in Berserker Warband,
And circle ones.
which
Yep.
we're going back in a circle here,
The one they don't want us to play.
the one they don't want us to play. And Games Workshop's going to look at this and say, wow, the Red Path. Wow. Art of War. Wow. A few other channels and teams are starting to play Angron. We fixed him. We did it. Everybody's playing him. And I've appropriately named the title of my new list. I'm talking you directly, GW. I'm playing Angron, and I'm not happy about it. Yes, I'm looking at you. That is the name of my list. I don't want this to come off as it's okay. I'm going to play this model and feel bad about it. It is a bad bad data sheets can be good, and that's a bad thing, right? That rework this model and make it 400 points and make it feel like it's worth being 400 points. I don't have a problem. Angron was what, 415 points, 420 points in index, and worth every penny of it.
I think it was 425 at one point. It was
He was
insane.
expensive.
It was very good though.
He's
It
okay to
should
be
be.
expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like Death Guard at the end of their index time period was just like, oh, sweet, Mortarian's 300 points. I guess he's just a 5-up feel no pain that's T12, and they just jammed him straight down the middle of the table at you. Usually they were just like, it's going to take 1,000 points of your army to kill this. Have fun. And that's all they thought of their Demon Primarch was, there he goes. Send him off into the sunset. And he's going to see more play for the wrong reasons, and that doesn't make it okay. And I just want that to be known. I'm going to play him, and I'm not happy about it. Somebody say something positive.
Um,
At this point, he's the same price as the Glavebound 3 Exalted and a single squad of Jackals. So he's very, very worth swapping out for that. Because
there you go.
most lists have got that second squad of Jackals. Get rid of that. Get rid of 3 Exalted and a Slaughterbound. Bam. Angron's in your list now. You've got Dad. You probably spent a lot of time painting Dad. You like your paint job on Dad because he's cool.
You spent a lot of money on Dad.
Yeah, that's true. You feel
You
like
you
he's
read
coming off your shelf. That's a win, right?
you read his books. You really feel attached to your character, and now you're getting the world leader experience, right? I'm going to advocate for this model in teams and singles. I think he's currently really good into the meta, and I think it has nothing to do with his data sheet and what the detachment Berserker Warband offers. He's still strength 7. That sucks on his sweep, so don't get him charged by Victor's Guard. You'll be really sad wounding them on 4s with your sweep. You're probably going to be striking them all day anyways. And then Ryan, Prophet of Ron, do you have any closing statements on Angron and the state of him in this game?
I think we hit everything realistically. Like, I mean, it's a stat line that is a solves a problem in the meta in which we'd have no other solutions for because they refuse to make the Winged Demon Prince any good. They refuse to make maybe the Khorne Lord of Skulls affordable. I don't know if Josie has any feelings about that,
Yeah, we did
but
skip that conversation. We need to go back to that rant,
we will
but
go back to that. But in realistically, Angron is a fun model. It's always fun to see him on the table. He's a big part of the World Leader's identity, and so I think it's cool that he's coming back to the table. I hate the auspices in which it has to happen. Um, and where it's like an addition because so much has been subtracted. Um, or just like a meta influence choice. So I'm excited to play him. He's my favorite model. He's a great looking model, but realistically, doing it because he solves a specific problem because his stat line, not because he's an interesting thing to play, is weird. Um, but Josie, why don't you tell us more about the 40-point decrease on the Storm Surge, the 40-point decrease on Shalaxi? Uh,
Big guys getting cheaper. It'd be really cool if our biggest guy got a bit cheaper.
he was played once, and that's too much.
Lord of Skulls exists. You can take it in Berserker Warband. It is a very real threat in Berserker Warband. And it is a very real threat for the exact same reason that you would look at Angron. It is because it is 24 wounds that can get -1 damage.
And its biggest
It's
predator's dead.
and its biggest predator is dead. It's fine in melee. It's aggressively fine in shooting until you run into any hit mods at all, which we have no way of ignoring, not even with Angron, who only ignores melee hit mods. Ballistics or 4. It's fine as long as you can roll 4-ups, and if anybody asks you to roll 5s, just assume you're doing 0 damage.
I am become orc at that point.
It's it's fine, and it can be run in other detachments. It can be run in Cult because it makes that detachment tick. You can look at it there. You could also look at Angron there, and I'll feel really bad about that every time I do. You could run it in Gore because its biggest predator is dead. Because Eldar don't aren't likely to be around as much to one-tap it. It means you can run specifically into shooting armies with a Gore Lord of Skulls. Something will shoot it, it'll take 5 or 6 damage. Maybe it'll go to half health, and then you'll reactive move it back behind a wall, and you'll get 2 whole turns of activation out of a Lord of Skulls before it goes
Dang.
down.
Yeah.
505 points is insane. I understand that for some reason somebody has decided that this thing isn't allowed to come on from reserves. Nobody wants to do that. Like, if anybody from GW listening, nobody wants to do that. You gave the thing the ability to walk through walls. It's already fine on the board. It will stage up somewhere safe
Oh
and
no.
then walk through a wall and punch somebody. It doesn't need to come on from the board edge.
How long? He's like 5.5 inches wide and like 10 inches long.
Yes,
If
he
somebody's not
just
screening
about,
that,
yeah, exactly. He
if
barely
somebody's
fits
not
on
screening
anyway.
that, they deserve to get rapid ingress by a
Oh,
Lord of Skulls or a strat
also
preserved
just
by
take
a
it
Lord
off
of
the data
Skulls.
sheet. Just take it off the data. Like, just say, listen, this model cannot, like, monstrous Titanic thing can't be reserved.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
end.
I'd advocate for that as a game-wide rule. Frankly, Titanic can't come off from reserves. It's too big. You'd see it coming. Done.
Sure. And
Like,
what price would you actually feel like? I know you're talking about how like it feels, it sees play. Like, what is this? What is the price to move on this for you, anyways, Josie?
I think 450 is too low. Honestly, it does have enough shooting threat and enough melee threat to be real at 450. I think if it was at 470, I would be telling Berserker Warband players to turbo slam it into lists, or at least look at it.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's new Angron's cost plus a squad of 8 bound, or it's
And
right now you could run 3 Forge Fiends, and nobody's running 3 Forge Fiends, but you could run 3 Forge Fiends for 510 points.
and I guess we'll kind of like circle back to this conversation because I want to loop this back in. Nobody's playing. People are playing the Lord of Skulls, but they're honestly playing it because they have one and it's painted. That is usually the reason
Yeah,
people are saying why they're playing it, which is cool. I'm all for that. Nobody's currently playing Chaos Terminators. Nobody's playing Winged Demon Princes. Nobody's playing Lord Invocatus. He's honestly the most confused data sheet we have in our book. He's like pretty okay, but like doesn't do anything super well.
yeah,
A little bit cheaper on him, and I think he's actually priced to move, right? Our Predators, never heard of them, right? In fact, the last time we heard of them, they got nerfed because they happened to share a name with the Chaos Space Marine Chaos Predator. That is why you missed that, Ryan. We scrolled down to the bottom of the data slate and saw plus 10 points on our Predators. Not a soul has even thought of running one.
so it sounds to me like you guys didn't even get nerfed.
I mean, it was just the twist. It was just the twist knife. It was like
It
Chaos
was
Spawn plus
just
10, Predator
it was
plus 10, and
just
we're like,
being
why?
spit on.
And it was like, we are so close to Khorne Demonkin being a viable attachment, right? Possessed Slaughterband, actually, the damage ceiling in it is insane. If it had a legitimate detachment rule, which it currently has no detachment rule, if you read it and you read something, just stop reading. It's not worth your time.
yeah.
Just close it and go straight to the strats. The strats are
Three
the
strats.
it's weird whiplash because like four banger strats, two useless strats. Come on, man. Actually, I won't say four banger, two banger strats, two okay strats, two useless strats, but those banger strats are banger. They're actually
Well,
like
they're all, but they're also all tied to, like, you know what? Fuck it. Well, Josie and I think we plan to dig deep into Slaughterband very soon.
Oh, yeah, we'll take a proper look at
So I
it.
don't want to go too down the rabbit hole on that because I'm sure we'll touch on this. But yeah, like there is just a huge dichotomy between the haves, which is realistically warband and probably cults, and then the have-nots, where like Gortrak is like catching up simply because they're hitting warband so hard because it's won't there won't stop we
people
won't
won't
stop playing
stop
it.
playing it, and people won't stop playing it until you give them a reason to stop playing it, and that reason needs to be something other than nerfs,
Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah, just putting nerfs in this means that you hit other detachments. So
It
Cult of
is
Blood
true
needed Slaughterbound and Exalted because it was the only anti-vehicle.
because I
Possessed
think the
Slaughterbound needed Slaughterbounds because of course it does. It's the 8 bound
it's
attachment, so
it's
they've
the
gone
eight
up
pound attachment
30 to 45 points. Cult of Blood's gone up 25 to 45 points. My last list went up 45 because I ran 3 Slaughterbounds.
Hey, Gortrag got out of this scot-free,
Gore Tracker has got Vessels of Wrath. Nobody's playing Vessels. Vessels is possibly our worst detachment,
and
and it's
Vessels
still got points nerfs.
and Vessels begs for Slaughterbounds and Lorazon Juggernaut to be played in its attachments, right?
100%.
The Winged Demon Prince, it's just all of our unplayed data sheets need to get looked at for points decreases, for rules rewrites. Angron seriously just needs to be rewritten top down. Take his res, crumple it up, throw it over your back. It was cool while we had it. Let's just forget it ever existed, and I'll forgive you, GW. Leave his melee alone. That's actually the one good thing he has going for him. And then spin the lottery again. I would start all over with the three auras and never look back, right? I'll take three brand new ones I've never heard of before in a heartbeat, right? I feel so spoiled back when we had Index Ron. whenever your opponent would be like, "Oh, what does Engron do?" You would be like, "Oh, he rerolls hits and he does +1 to charge," and I forget what the third one is because you'd never use it, right?
Yeah, 430 points. We were like, yes, please. We would
Yeah.
take one every
Yeah,
time.
but
And that said, in a moment,
that
Angron's
that
worst one, the one that we don't
yep,
remember, is still better than any of the three he has now.
correct. I would kill to have that back. I'm so sorry for how much I neglected +1 attacks in a 6-inch aura into injured world leader units because a 20 man with 19 extra attacks would be hilarious. I'd be firing those hazardous plasma pistols at everything, trying to get that +19 attacks on that squad, right? But it's just painful seeing every other army get multiple other playable detachments while we're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs saying, I wonder what flavor of +2 strength +1 attack I'm going to be playing this week, right?
I will be completely honest. There was a moment of like, do I really want to come back to this? When I was like, I left at Index. Index was good. I played Vessels for a hot minute and then evaporated. And then I came back and it was Ryan. Guess what the new detachment is that's really good? It's the same thing. I'm like, oh, I've been gone for 11 months, guys.
And
Like,
I'll be honest, Warband did actually receive mostly healthy changes coming from the index to the codex.
oh,
I
I'm
actually
not
agree with
upset.
most of it. Removing
Just
army-wide advance and charge, this might sound like heresy to you, was probably for the best.
it is heresy, first of all. I'm deeply traumatized that I came back to not being able to 100% just put my army behind my opponent's army turn one. I think that's
Well,
an unfair change to me directly, and I won't have it.
I just want an alternative detachment, and I want to get the alternative detachment in a
In
way
all
that feels
seriousness, I
good.
agree.
That feels
Yeah.
good.
Yep. In all seriousness, I want
Because we're
like
this close to a couple of them, like getting there. And
Vow. Vow was so fun when we had Index.
all right, we've been ranting a little bit too much. Let's go ahead and zoom out of just world leaders and talk about the slate as a whole. For me, we'll go ahead and say everybody's last thoughts on the slate, I think. Um, I think this is probably the poorest slate that Games Workshop has put out. A few of their slates have actually been heaters in the past. It seems like they really just said, hey, what are the problems in the meta? We'll fix those problems, heavy-handed or not. They did fix those problems. Eldar's was probably just two data slates compounded on top of each other, because honestly, if you remember the last one, they kind of got out of it scot-free. They were the best army in the game, and they came out of it the best or the second best army in the game still. So they finally got hit. Ultramarines got hit, but not enough. Uh, Everyone else just received a bit of nothing, right? As you saw from the slate review, there wasn't much to review. We just scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled until we found 1 in 7 factions that actually had meaningful changes, and until we got to ourselves, which we didn't really receive any meaningful changes. It was just kind of like a head scratcher. Right now, I got to rewrite my list kind of change. Like the list that I've posted in the Discord, which speaking of which, we are going to be giving the three of us are going to be giving our best takes on playable lists in an upcoming video shortly. So I mean, the list that I will be advocating for is actually 2005 points. So it got buffed if you squint hard enough. And that's whatever. It just felt like they forgot they had a slate and they did their homework the night before. That's what this felt like. It felt like this was written yesterday.
I don't disagree. I want to disagree, but I really can't. It's a C minus at best. The best stuff, the stuff that was too good went down.
It passed. It's a
This is
passing
good.
grade. It's a passing grade. They took care of the problems and they helped none of the issues. I mean, I guess that's the same thing. They brought the game down without addressing any of like the feels bads. In fact, they nerfed all of the armies that were having fun, so now they're going to have less fun, and all of the armies that weren't having fun are still not having fun, is where we're looking at this, right?
Yeah,
That's my take. Josie?
I can't disagree with that. I feel like one of the things that previous states have done very well, or quite well at least, is they have actually thought about what armies are likely to be good after the top stuff gets nerfed. And they tend to sort of give them a little slap on the wrist, sort of 50, 60, 70 point nerfs. It doesn't feel like they've done that this time. I'm aware that World Eaters are one of the factions that got that sort of 50-point nerf, but it doesn't feel like it was done with any intent of actually holding us back from becoming the top dogs. It just feels like it was punitive and nerfing the stuff that everybody was taking. So I am worried that we're just immediately going to see new stuff rise up. I can see Drukhari being a massive problem that was completely unaddressed. Hellions, 160 points, I think, can
Well, yeah,
still
about that.
lift
Yeah.
almost anything in the game. I had a person in the Discord who was talking about their Lord of Skulls being attacked by aliens. He was like, "Oh, thank goodness I -1 damage because through -1 damage, that thing went from full to 6 wounds." And I was like, "No, surely not." And we mapped it out. And we're like, "Yep, that's actually an average amount of damage." So they can run into a Lord of Skulls that hasn't got -1 damage and just lift 505 points of thing that they should be bad at killing. What stands up to what Drukhari can do? I'm not sure.
Angron's all right at it. He's all
Okay.
right.
Yeah, he's all right.
They are only AP1, so your 2-up save does help there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about a lot of things popping up again. Like we've addressed the elephants in the room, we've addressed the issues, but they've done nothing to prevent new issues from rising up
And,
instantly.
and the thing is, Ultramarines have been very successful in their short time that they've been around. One of their biggest predators was actually Eldar. Like that actually was their biggest predator was the fact that fire dragons could roll up on a Victor squad and do reasonable damage to it and put it down, right?
Yeah,
And that was probably
Ultramarines
their
forever.
that was their biggest competitor in tournaments too. It was Admech and Eldar. Both of those got taken down. Ultramarines only 90 points. We'll see if that was enough. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you it's not.
Well, I heard from someone I trust recently that the 18s of Vitrix Guard weren't actually the best variant. It was actually the 12s with more stuff.
I'm more
And
scared of the 12 Stormlance build. That is true, but
so if it's 12, that's 60 points. Then you take Kato Sicarius's -25 and it's 35 points. How hard do you think it will be for an Ultramarine list to find 35 points?
granted, people
No, it's
weren't playing that Cicado. They were playing the other one, which was kind of the weird
yeah.
complaint we had earlier,
So
which
it's +10. So it's they've got
they're
to find
dropping their
70
ATV.
points.
They're dropping the cute little ATV.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah.
drop an
Uh,
ATV
do
or
you
So
Scout Squad.
do you
Drop
feel like
nothing.
when you play against Ultramarines again, you're gonna feel that ATV not being there helping you not get tabled as hard? That is going to be my question to
no
you.
idea. Um,
Angron catches the Storm Raven.
Angron,
Nothing else
Angron, Angron.
does.
Hell
Nothing
yeah,
else
brother.
does.
Nothing else does.
So yeah, I think that we're gonna see um I think I'm less down on the slate than you guys are, and that's simply because I have no expectations of what the meta is. I don't have a full understanding of what's
It,
happening in the game. Um, but that doesn't mean that I can't read this and be like, this seems weird. Um, I think we're gonna see a lot of blueberries. Obviously, we're gonna see a lot of Drukhari. Um, obviously, Guard. I think we
guard.
spent like 15 minutes in this video talking about how Guard is gonna mess
The
stuff up.
I think this is going to be the best indirect has been in a while.
And then you add that into um, demons and potentially Thousand Sons being able to add to the indirect party at flat 3 damage kind of stuff. I'm not worried that like they might be top, but it'll exist. And so it'll be interesting to roll through and see how all these changes. Maybe we get a little bit of a melee meta though. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
going to be the thing.
I do legitimately
Because
think it's going to be Victor's Guard and Blood Angels and World Leaders dying in the middle of the table.
and
Because World Leaders
Drukhari and all that stuff.
and Drakari and
So
yeah,
I think all three of us have shared some lists, and we'll have that video where we share lists. But realistically, it's going to be how much stuff can we fit in now? Like, because we're going
yep.
to need some stuff. Like,
And we'll get more into our list choices if you want to catch some of our hot takes right now. We are active in the Discord. We are sharing our lists. We're not hiding any of that information. We just need to get some time together to get our thoughts more formally published through a video. That will be coming up soon. World leaders, in my opinion, are still well positioned in this meta. Like, I know we've been quite negative in this video, mainly just because we've had so many good slates in the past, and I think we've honestly been spoiled. GW's shown that they have the ability to do good rules changes. I'm looking at Lionel Johnson, for example. Well done. They actually fixed him and made him feel good to play and powerful, and they pointed him appropriately. He's actually maybe too cheap, in my opinion, but I'm not going to ask for more Dark Angels nerfs, please. The I just want that kind of love and attention given to other factions, right? Um, we've Ryan, that's probably the reason why a lot of our negativity has come from a little bit of bitterness. Uh, but despite all of that, I think world leaders are well positioned. If it's going to be a melee meta, world leaders can brawl in the middle of the table just as good as the best of them. We still have very good data sheets. We have a very strong detachment. Berserker Warband is a S minus A plus tier detachment, right? On the back of one of the stronger army rules in the game, even though it's people will complain that it's random and non-thematic, still very strong. Pile and Consolidate 6
Blessings
army
is
blessings are insanely good.
amazing. I think they're so much fun as both thematic and power. Like it's a perfect, I think it's a perfect Warhammer army rule. And that's obviously my opinion, but like it adds power, randomness, and a toolbox flexibility. Cool.
But I think we'll be floating around that like A tier range. I think that we're gonna have a couple, but two of our biggest predators got knocked down. AdMech is still going to be around, just not as horrifying, like unfairly horrifying. I think there's still going to be a oranges matchup for us now. Eldar is probably out of the picture. Guard is going to be very obviously our boogeyman, but if you build for it, I think World Leaders are also one of the better armies that, to handle Ultramarines. I think we actually do have decent game into them. Um, just Forge Fiends don't do anything to them, so we'll get into that into our list building. But if you guys liked what you saw today, please feel free to support us and check us out on Patreon and Discord. I know we're going to be running probably a lot of workshops here in a little bit. So consider joining the Patreon. It's just a coffee a month, guys, $5. And that will get you access to our competitive Patreon or hobby Patreon, or both, if you really so choose, where we have new hobby and competitive content getting released monthly in their workshops. How to handle the blueberries. We're going to walk step by step the best way to handle them, how to handle situations where you're in indirect, guard hell, Blood Angels mirror matches, right? Because that's basically what it is now. It is basically just Berserker Warband, just in a trench coat. Um, so, with all that being said, please like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. Thanks for sticking around with us for this much and through this much negativity. Um, I really hope that we get better fixes in the future. The state of the army right now is fine. We are fine. Other armies have it way worse. I would rather be
Oh
where
yeah.
we are right now than be where Custodes or Grey Knights players are.
Yep.
I'm so sorry, but that doesn't mean my complaints are invalid. So, any closing thoughts, Josie and Ryan?
I think you've covered it. We're in a good spot. Like Worldies are still a good army. The top end of our stuff's been brought down, but I am making very, very strong arguments at this point for people to start looking at Track. It's got some issues. Lack of AP is always a problem that is solved by Berserker Warband and is not solved by Track. Delivery is a massive thing into a Victrix game specifically. We'll probably chat about that in later videos as well. But there's a lot to be said for Track right now. They can do an awful lot of things into a very melee hostile meta. And it's nice the worldies do have those options. They might not be the objective best options, but they're still good. And the fact that we can still build good lists, even if they're not incredible lists, means we're in a good place.
Ryan?
Yeah. I'm excited to get first of all back on the table. Obviously yeeting myself into Ohio to have fun with Brian in like what 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
3 weeks.
so basically I still haven't got played a game since January 19th. Probably should get on that. And it'll be really fun to get Warriors back on the table. They look still so fun. Like I get that there's a little bit of negativity here, but the faction still looks really fun. There's a bunch of stuff for me to try out and explore, and I can't wait to do that.
Well, guys, with all that said, again, thanks for sticking around. We have more content to come. I hope you at least were entertained by this video, if anything. And with that, guys, I'll go ahead and say it. Stay healthy, stay safe, and kill, maim, burn.